It's the same 5 guys every single night. On the other end, I think it's going to be interesting to see Tracy Abrams in the starting lineup again, playing alongside with young Lucas, who's still going to run the point guard duties. And the rest of this lineup, I still really like. The potential is certainly there. And as we said, for Wisconsin, it's kind of ho-hum. Same old guys, same story. I mean, it's still something you should get excited about, especially if you're a Badger fan. Showalter Koenig, Nigel Hayes, Vito Brown, and Ethan Happ just doing their business.
The same starting lineup as they've used every single game this year. The Badgers came into today in a tie for first with Maryland, but the Terrapins have won at Ohio State, a game that just ended. So now Wisconsin will need to win to keep pace. You've got 3 and 4 going at it tomorrow night on BTN when Northwestern will take on Purdue. So a lot of intrigue at the top of the league. And as we mentioned, this is a series that has been absolutely dominated by the Badgers shot.
Yeah, but this season, I think we've learned that you just can't predict anything. And we saw that Saturday in a matchup where you got the best team in the conference and the bottom team in the conference in Rutgers, yet they gave them one heck of a game. If anything, it was Rutgers' game to win or lose down the stretch.
Illinois last beat the Badgers in this building 6 years ago. Big stretch for the Illini. They played 3 of their next 4 at home. Among the first 4 outs of the NCAA tournament, according to Jerry Palm in his latest bracket. So a win here would go a long way for them. And again, the Badgers trying to keep pace with Maryland to top the league. Here's Nigel Hayes. Now Vito Brown. 10 to shoot. Bronson Koenig had an off night against Rutgers, and he turns it over uncharacteristically. The Illini, Lucas able to track it down, gets it over to Morgan. And now Illinois will set up the offense.
And you have to make great passes in transition if you get a turnover for the Illini. You have to make good passes and try to capitalize because Wisconsin doesn't give you much.
As Abrams started the year very hot from outside, has cooled off considerably. Here's Hill, way off the mark, and the rebound to Happ.
And how about the fact Wisconsin doubled immediately when Maverick Morgan got the ball? Something to follow throughout the course of this game.
Now Vito Brown, that jab step move. Here's Happ on the blocks. Illinois thought about a double and didn't do it, and Happ makes him pay.
No, that's the interesting one. I think that's one you have to do. You have to double the second he puts the ball on the floor because he'll just beat you up all night long.
And we talked about that a little bit today with John Gross as to how much they were going to double Ethan Happ, and he said it's going to kind of vary depending on the situation.
I think you have to consider it every single time, not just because of his scoring ability, but he's become a very good passer.
Here's Abrams with a 3 ball that rims out, and Koenig tracks it down to the corner for the Badgers.
And if you're Abrams, you've had trouble shooting the basketball, but I think you got to feel good about that one.
There's Happ, good job by Morgan to cut him off. Now Koenig inside the arc. So Bronson Koenig was just 2 of 13 against Rutgers, gets his first 2 here.
And that's going to be a challenge. That 2-man game with Bronson Koenig and Ethan Happ, you have to play off and almost allow Koenig to come off that screen.
Ron Black had it knocked away by Vito Brown, who just out-muscles Black there for the ball, and a turnover for the Illini.
If I'm Greg Gard, I look to go back to that, make Maverick Morgan work here. Another ball screen situation. Maverick Morgan sitting back, and Bronson Koenig just does his work.
So he has already matched his field goal total from Saturday. Good start for the Badgers on top 6-0. If Illinois can get something going here. Turnover on the last trip. John Gross emphasized today. Turnovers would be a key in this game, given the low possessions you play with against the Badgers. The miss there by Black, and here comes Hayes.
It's important to point out, the Badgers are not trying to minimize possessions. They're just trying to maximize efficiency.
The top 25 of the nation in offensive and defensive efficiency. Here's Hayes. The three ball that goes. So Nigel Hayes, who's not shot the three nearly as much of late, hits that one. And Illinois in a big hole early, John, down 9-0.
Well, that's one heck of a start for the Badgers, but they're getting whatever they want offensively, starting with Ethan Happ. Then you get two ball screens for Bronson Koenig, and with Maverick Morgan playing that thing flat, you've got to fight over those screens hard. It's just been too easy. Here he goes, just denying the ball screen. There's Maverick Morgan sitting back. That's too easy. Bronson Koenig, if you allow him to get going, it's going to be a long night for the Illini.
Wisconsin 4 of 5 from the field early on. Illinois 0-3. So take a look at Greg Gard. Second year for him. Sweet 16 last year after taking over for Bo Ryan. Maverick Morgan and company trying to get going. As I said, the Illini 0 for 3 from the field, and the turnover, and nothing's gone right here.
How about the fact that Bo Ryan left the job, I mean, just over a year ago? Doesn't it seem like it was a much longer time?
There was a lot of uncertainty surrounding this program a year ago.
And look where they're at now. I mean, really, in my opinion, they're a top 10 team because of the way they play the basketball game. But Greg Gard has just done an absolutely fantastic job with his bunch.
Well, you share the opinion of the AP voters who have the number 10 this week. Malcolm Hill gets Illinois on the board.
I just think there's a lot of question. I think a lot of people don't give Wisconsin the respect because they don't win, I guess, in the worldly pretty way, right? Like, they don't put up 90-plus points every single game, but they beat almost every team they play.
Well, 5 of the last 6 Sweet 16s, only team in the country who can make that claim. Here's Hayes, hit a three a moment ago. It's knocked away by Black, but he's called for the foul.
From the Illini, number 12, Ron Black.
There's John Gross, year number 5 for him. 90-70 record, and again trying to get the Illini back into the NCAA tournament. They made it his first year and have not made it since.
It would have been an interesting challenge for Greg Gard when this class leaves. I think that's really going to be an interesting challenge. I think a lot of people in the Big Ten will be following that, but I think it's going to be business as usual.
Kipper Nichols has checked in for the Illini. He misses the three. The transfer from Tulane, who became eligible mid-season. Now Showalter on the other end, and he hits. Zach Showalter has been in double figures each of the last 6 games. Gets his first three.
It's just been too easy offensively that time. Only about 5 seconds off the shot clock, but they get a wide-open three.
Foul on Koenig as Dijon Lucas tried to get around him.
We've talked about the efficiency of this Wisconsin team. Well, they play with high efficiency because they move the basketball well. They have 5 good passers on the floor and multiple players that can knock down shots. 12-2 lead, and it must mean they're doing something right on the offensive end. Here we go. Take a freeze here. Maverick Morgan's got to get up higher. He's got to get up higher because the defender on Bronson Koenig is going over top the screen. You have to discourage the jump shot. Give Malcolm Hill just a second to get over that screen. If you don't, Bronson Koenig is going to bury you with 15, 16-foot jumpers all night long.
Just too good a shooter to let him get a look like that. Koenig off to a nice start. Hitting 2 of 2, 4 points. Again, a 10-point lead for Wisconsin.
And I should say part of that has to do with the fact that they're giving a lot of respect to Ethan Happ. They're not going to allow him to roll to the basket and get position early. That's why Maverick Morgan's setting up so far back. In a way, it's pick your poison with this Badger team.
Will Iverson, 21, is checked in for Wisconsin. This is Happ on the low blocks. Happ working on Michael Finke, and nice move by Happ.
He just lulls you to sleep. He makes you think with ball fakes, head fakes, eye fakes, shoulder fakes that he's going to pass the ball out, and then he reverses his pivot and gets it.
Finke's jumper rolls out. Hayes the rebound. The Badgers trying to build on a 12-point lead. I still 1 of 7 from the field, John.
Yeah, I still think you've got to double. Get the ball out of Ethan Happ's hands when he's got the ball down in the paint.
Oh, great feed by Koenig, and Happ lays it in. That was pretty. Coleman lands Barnes, who's come in off the bench, misses that one. The Illini track down the offensive board. Hill fires it inside to Nichols. Do they count the basket?
Foul on Wisconsin,
They do
number
not.
10, Nigel Hayes.
The foul on Nigel Hayes.
Right call, bump on the floor. It's a shame because the Illini need something to get them going. And one opportunity to get three would certainly help. And this is Malcolm Hill doing what he does, finding teammates. Kipper Nichols has been great for the Illini. A physical presence, as you said, the transfer. And he's earning more and more minutes and more responsibility on the floor.
Here's Hill, hits the three. So Malcolm Hill has all 5 Illinois points. The Illini just 2 field goals now, and we're nearly 6 minutes in. Happ again. Happ going to work. Good block there by Morgan.
Good defense. Good job by Morgan. Gapping at times, but then using his body to force Happ into a tough position.
There's Morgan, jump hook. First 2 for Maverick Morgan. Has been in double figures in 7 of the last 8 games. And Illinois climbing back into it. Vito Brown. This is the freshman Demetric Trice. A 3-ball on the way from Iverson, and he drains it.
And that's a tough one for the Illini because they're going to give that shot to Khalil Iverson. He can make it, but at the same time, you have to protect the paint so much that you may have to concede that shot from time to time.
Right, just his 3rd made 3 of the year. Coleman lands. He makes plenty of them.
That's not the guy you want to give up a shot to. I mean, he is just a straight bucket getter. And coming off the bench today, you know he's going to be hungry.
The better 3-point shooters in the Big Ten. Lead is 9 again. Here's Happ. Jordan Hill off the mark, and Nichols with the rebound. Malcolm Hill spinning in the lane. Fadeaway doesn't go. Good offensive rebound by Morgan. Another possession for the Illini. Can they take advantage? Jalen Tate tries to get it inside to Nichols. It's knocked away by Trice. Here's Trice with the pull-up. First 2 for Demetric Trice.
And that's kind of an added dimension to this team with Demetric Trice getting the steal run out. Turns it into an easy basket from 15 feet. You can see that they're aggressive when they have opportunities, yet they're not afraid to be efficient and work the shot clock.
Nichols coming out to set the screen for Coleman lands. Now Nichols lowered the shoulder, and it's an offensive foul.
Foul on Illinois, number 2 for Nichols.
First foul on the freshman, so it'll be Wisconsin ball when we come back. An 11-point lead for the Badgers.
Enjoy real Texas barbecue from Hickory River Smokehouse.
He said, look, the ball screen situation with Bronson Koenig and Ethan Happ is going to require a whole team of players, 5 guys, focused on stopping the ball because Bronson Koenig is so good handling the basketball, shooting the basketball, and passing the basketball, and Ethan Happ knows how to finish.
What a hot start here for the Badgers. I mean, think about this. They already have 9 field goals in the first half. They had 5 in the entire first half against Rutgers on Saturday.
Oh, I remember.
12 minutes ago, you were sitting right there at center court.
I mean, as a guy who loves scoring, that was a tough game. But you have to credit both teams. They both really fought. And it was interesting. It was a clean fight, meaning there wasn't a ton of fouls. It wasn't a whistle every second. It was actually a good old defensive battle. 2 teams just struggled to make shots.
15, Charlie Thomas in there for the Badgers. Vito Brown has become a really good 3-point threat for the last couple of years. Hits his first one of the game here.
Wisconsin 10 of 14 to start this game from the field. They're getting good looks and they're knocking them down. And it's important to say, they got good looks at the Garden too. It's not as if they didn't have good execution and get good looks. It just couldn't get them to go.
Turnover for the Illini, and those are starting to add up for John Gross's team. That is 4 turnovers for Illinois, and I kind of mentioned this off the top, that he normally targets 11 as the number that's kind of acceptable. He said today against Wisconsin, lower possession, 9 was the target number, so they are on pace to go well over that target. Offensive rebound battle. Brown's gotten his foul.
That's the second time Vito Brown has ripped the ball away from the Illini. And, you know, you and I, throughout our time here, have gotten to know Vito Brown a little. He's one of the nicest guys probably in the building, not just on the court, but what he's doing on the floor. And he's really asserting himself.
24-10 lead for Brown. You see the numbers from this year. And, of course, we've highlighted over the past few years, very talented singer. Tremendous student as well. Yeah, Shades of Brown. Two-time academic All-Big Ten pick. Here's Hayes. Hayes trying to back his way in. Got to Showalter. Good patience there by the Badgers. Good defense by the Illini. Now Koenig needs to make something happen with 4 on the shot clock. Spin move, and he hits it.
And that's kind of gut-wrenching if you're an Illini fan, even more so if you're one of the 5 guys on the floor that played really good defense. About 26 seconds, Bronson Koenig just made a great move and finished.
There's Black. Jumper doesn't go. Koenig tries to get the board, but it's controlled by the Illini, so second chance for Illinois. See if they can cash in. Lucas around the screen from Black. Now the freshman Lucas. Nice pass inside, but it's blocked away. Beautiful block by Charlie Thomas. Hayes, another 3 ball. That one rims out. And the rebound controlled by the Illini. Here comes Coleman Lands. Now Lucas. Leaves it for Black. And well off the mark there.
Talk about good defense for the Illini. Well, when a great defensive possession turns out into a made basket for Bronson Koenig, it really is gut-wrenching in every way. And then on the other side, when you're in position defensively, you're there to take shots away at the rim. You're there to get charges. You're there to get deflections and runouts. And you got to credit Wisconsin and their coaching staff for what they've done over the years in terms of teaching defense and always being in position.
I mean, Illinois has been a great shooting team here at the State Farm Center this year, nearly 50%. I mean, just a shade under. They're at 27%. They just look totally disjointed, but it sounds like you're giving a lot of that credit to the Badgers here.
I think it's kind of twofold. I think they've gotten some good looks early. They've missed some, but when you play good defense, stifling defense, it takes the rhythm out of the game, and shooting is all about rhythm and confidence. Right now, I don't know if Illinois has any.
Here's Koenig. Looking on Maverick Morgan now, and Koenig pulls up, misses that one, and Morgan corralling the rebound. Here comes Nichols in the open floor, stripped away, but a foul, and they will say it is a shooting foul. So Kipper Nichols will go to the free throw line after the foul on Nigel Hayes, which is his second.
And the Illini are going to have to see a lot more of that, getting out, running, throwing the ball ahead, trying to score early in the shot clock before defense gets set, because you know, we're sitting there talking to John Gross before the game, and the way he described the rotations of the Wisconsin defense, it basically like they just turn their heads and their bodies because they're always in position. That was a great compliment that one coach would give to another.
Nichols at the free throw line. 5 of 8 so far on the year, make it 5 of 9. You see how well John Gross's team has performed here in the State Farm Center. Just surprising to see them come out this flat. They have not played well on the road, to say the least, but at home they've been a really good competitive team.
Yeah, and you look at the personnel, I mean, it makes sense that they'd be a competitive team. There's some high-level talent on the floor for the Illini, and you've got 5 or 6 on the bench that you could bring in. We haven't seen Mike Thorne Jr. yet. He's another guy that can really get things going.
Aaron Jordan committing that foul. Jordan hadn't played in the last couple of games, but in talking to John Gross today, he felt like this was a game he wanted to get Jordan into the lineup. He is very quickly taking a seat. Illini continuing to struggle from the field, 4 out of 16.
And here you see a little bit of what Rutgers did, switching up defenses, trying to take the rhythm out of the game for the Badgers offense.
On the drive, Iverson doesn't go. Rebound, Abrams. Here's Hill for three. Rims it out, and Happ corrals the rebound for the Badgers.
I like this, kind of a 3-2 zone. Looks like a 3-2. What is 1-2-2? Looks 3-2 to me.
I'm going 2-3.
It's wherever the ball is. You could say it's a 2-3, and then at one point it's going to be a 3-2.
Here's Trice out of the corner. Whatever it is, it gave Wisconsin a little trouble. And as you mentioned, Rutgers gave them some trouble, too, with zones and switching defenses. And that's what we were mentioning off the top. I mean, maybe a little bit of a blueprint of what to do against this Badgers team. But Illinois got a lot of ground to make up. John Gross's team down 16 here at home. Big Ten Network, or visit btn.com/BTN winning shot.
Dave, it's always interesting to see how guys bounce back from a poor shooting performance. Bronson Koenig has no issues with confidence. Talked about what he does in late game situations, shooting over 55% from three over the last 5 minutes of games over the last 2 years. That's pretty incredible. He's certainly bounced back tonight.
Bronson Koenig has bounced back in a big way, much to the delight of his mother, Ethel, who is here watching the game, and this is her birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mom. He better shoot the ball well.
How about that? Happy birthday to Bronson Koenig's mother, Ethel, and I'm sure delighted to see her son performing well, and the Badgers looking good here early on as they shoot for what would be their 8th Big Ten win, and again looking to pull even with Maryland, which won earlier today and stay atop the Big Ten. Big shot there by Tracy Abrams for the Illini.
I know we're not supposed to root for anybody, and I think I've said this before, but when he took that shot, I literally was hoping that it went in. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you want to see get things going. He deserves every good opportunity he's gotten. 6-year guy, 2 years off from injury, and has really struggled recently with the shot.
Yeah, that was just his second made three-pointer in his last 17 attempts. And a foul inside on the Badgers.
You know what? He's one of the ones where I don't care if you have something nasty to say about it. I really do. I root for that kid. Not only is he a great guy, great kid, great teammate, he's someone who's persevered through a lot. You have no idea what it means to sit out 2 consecutive years when you came someplace to impact the basketball team in a positive way.
Try to lob it inside. They turn it over. And Happ comes up with it. No, I agree. I mean, it's been really inspirational visiting with Tracy this year and just getting a sense of how he battled through. Again, 2 entire seasons missed. He's going to leave Champaign with 2 master's degrees as Showalter unable to get the roll. Battle for the board, and Finke comes out of there with it for Illinois. Now Lucas will back things up. Now Lucas spinning in on Koenig. And here comes Ethan Happ. He falls down, but Happ tries to collect it, gives it away to Lucas. Lucas, no numbers. He'll leave it for Abrams. Now Hill to Morgan. 4 points for Maverick Morgan. Wisconsin has missed its last 5 field goal attempts. They've gone nearly 5 minutes without a basket.
Well, and so far, this zone has actually really helped. Now, the key in a zone is you still have to work hard. You also have to make sure that you find somebody to box out.
Happ trying to save it. Did he? He did not. There will be Illinois' ball. Now, you think back to
on that transition, it almost looks like he broke his own ankles. Take a look at how he went down. Yeah, just right foot slipped out. Glad he's all right. Because when he went down, anytime you see a guy go down like that, man, it's just the last thing you want to see.
I was going to say, you think back to the game where Wisconsin faced Syracuse earlier this year. Of course, that very famous Jim Boeheim zone defense and totally picked it apart. And Nigel Hayes was the guy who was doing most of the picking, and he is back in there. So we'll see whether he can help them solve that puzzle here, John.
And if it's anything like, which it's really not, I mean, this definitely looks to be more like a wing extended 3-2, but again, who really knows? I mean, the way they rotate is ultimately what determines what kind of zone it is, but the middle of this zone is going to be the open weak spot.
Well, there they got it into the teeth of the zone, get it back out to Koenig, and he hits the three.
I mean, that's where guards have to work twice as hard, and that's where Syracuse historically has done very well with guards, with lengthy guards that work very hard to take those high post entries away. And when you don't, you get beat, especially with Nigel Hayes in the middle.
Greg Gard was saying today, regardless of whether they're playing a zone or not, he said you have to get paint touches. And that was the first time they'd gotten one in a few possessions there, and it pays off. 4 to shoot for Coleman Lands. And he just tries to heave it up, and it's another turnover for the Fighting Illini. That is number 6 now.
When you talk about Nigel Hayes, you think of score, you think of the personality that he is, but he's really taken on the role of facilitator for this offense. He gets so much attention when he gets the ball in scoring position that he uses pump fakes well, he gets to the foul line well, so defenses have to just respect his ability to score around the basket. He's become a great passer.
He leads the Badgers in assists. His first one of the game there a moment ago. And a turnover for the Badgers. It's number 5 for Wisconsin.
I actually love that no call, too. Zach Showalter just kind of puts his head down and goes to the basket. And it was kind of a combination of good defense. If anything, he kind of caught him with an elbow. Jalen Coleman took one to the chops. But I like the no call. Just because there's a little contact doesn't mean you have to call it.
Showalter taking his seat. Aaron Maish has checked in for Wisconsin. Doesn't play a whole lot.
But he's got some of the best facial here in the Big Ten. I mean, can't fight that one.
Here's Black. Right over Maish. And the first 2 for LaRon Black.
Maish is a guy that got good time last year.
He did, yeah.
And
He's seen
really,
his playing time go down a bit this year.
It's gone down, but you don't lose much when you bring guys off the bench. You really don't at all. They understand their role. They come in and play their position. And they don't make a ton of mistakes.
Hayes' shot rims out. Black the rebound. And Illinois can cut it to 9 with a 3-ball here. Here's Hill, had it knocked away, regains, and there is the 3 from Black, but it doesn't go down. Here's Koenig. Hayes into Charlie Thomas. Nicely done.
That time, it looked like they were in zone, but the big guys on the bottom of the zone got extended out. Little 2-man game was too easy for Nigel Hayes and Charlie Thomas.
Here's Black trying to back down Maish again. Black left it short, tipped out by Morgan, and it will be Wisconsin ball.
2-man game with 2 big guys, one of which is Nigel Hayes. You're probably going to get beat. As I said, become quite the facilitator and passer. Nigel Hayes, get it done.
Well, I mean, I have other responsibilities, but
of course.
I admire the job that Mike Hall. Mike Hall literally said today he's been working out for 6 weeks, getting ready for signing it. Here are the active career scoring leaders in major conferences, and how about having 2 of them in this game? And Malcolm Hill and Nigel Hayes, these are the numbers coming into tonight.
Yeah, and these are 2 guys so far so good tonight. Malcolm Hill certainly carrying the load, and then Nigel Hayes, as I said, it's really hard to take him off the top 5 for potential player of the year in this conference, because I think him deferring so much has made him quite the leader of this team.
There's Koenig. Left that one short. Thomas able to track down the rebound. Extra possession here for the Badgers.
At the same time, I think the only guy you'd replace him with is Ethan Happ.
The foul inside. It's going to go against Te'Jon Lucas.
Number 3, Te'Jon Lucas.
That'll be his first. As we remind you, the State Farm halftime report coming up in just over 2 minutes. Rick Pizzo standing by in the studio with Illinois' all-time leading scorer, Zion Thomas, as well as former Iowa star Jess Settles, with their thoughts on the first half of the other 2 games in the Big Ten tonight as well.
Dave, back to important things. The signing day, 9 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours, whether it's...
Yeah.
I saw some videos online that are basically like short films that you might find at the Sundance Film Festival about kids announcing where they're going to go. And maybe I just was never that good as a player that anyone would really care. But, man, it just seems like with technology, things have blown up.
It has turned into a bit of a cottage industry. Yeah, the making of high school football and basketball players' videos.
I don't think I could live with the pressure. I feel like I'd have to perform.
Here's Hill, training the three. Malcolm Hill with 8 points.
And they're going to have to make tough shots if they want to claw back into this game, starting with Malcolm Hill, especially when he gets the mismatch like that. He gets a mismatch where he can go one-on-one. Inside or out, he's going to win his battle.
Maish out top. 10 to shoot for the Badgers, and Koenig will reset things. It's the screen from Happ. Bronson Koenig off glass, no good. Offensive rebound, Maish knocked away, and it will stay with Wisconsin.
You can see when defenders get out of position, bad communication, or I'll just say miscommunication, on the defensive side on a ball screen, 3 guys kind of float towards the ball when Koenig takes that shot. That's how Maish is able to just slide right underneath and get that second chance opportunity.
1 minute to go here. First half, 31-20 Wisconsin. Here's Happ. Now Maish, Vito Brown. Showalter. Not there. Maish, the offensive rebound doesn't go. And it will stay with the Badgers again. So a second straight offensive rebound from Aaron Maish.
I was just about to say, too, this was a good defensive possession. It really was. But if you can't finish the possession with a rebound, it's all null and void.
Wisconsin just 3 of its last 16 after a hot start. Koenig. Make it 3 of 17. Yet another offensive board for the Badgers. I mean, John Gross, that was one of his 2 biggest points of emphasis here. We cannot give them extra possessions. And
you're right. Can't turn
down
the
here
ball
for about
over
2 minutes.
Yes, can't turn the ball over and can't give up offensive rebounds. And they're going to close out this half with the ball.
Wisconsin calls timeout to try to draw something up. And really before this possession, I mean, Illinois had done a fairly good job of keeping Wisconsin off the offensive glass. It's 8 offensive rebounds now for Wisconsin, but 4 of them have been on this possession.
But even that last offensive rebound, you're going to check out Ethan Happ, but you still have to keep your eyes up at the rim. You're pushing Ethan Happ away from the basket. You have no vision of where the ball is.
Super Wednesday should be a ton of fun tomorrow. I will be in Bloomington, Indiana, trying to get back on track as they take on Penn State. And then in West Lafayette, it is number 25 Northwestern and number 23 Purdue. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings on BTN and BTN to Go. This will be the 172nd meeting all time between the Wildcats and the Boilermakers. It is the first time ever that they've both been ranked. 172 meetings.
I've got that game. I'm excited about that. Short drive down there tomorrow morning. Get there in time for shoot-arounds and watch and talk about some good basketball.
Here's Koenig out of the timeout. Doesn't get the roll. Another offensive rebound and a very fitting ending to that possession for Wisconsin as they dominated the offensive glass, and they are finally able to cash in.
I mean, that is an absolute head-scratcher if you're an Illini coach, player, or fan. You do almost everything right. There's the checkout, but Vito Brown just walks right into a tip-back with about 1.8 seconds left. I mean, the last possession, it was all offensive glass for the Badgers.
So Greg Gard's team with the 13-point lead at the half, despite hitting just 3 of their last 17 field goal attempts. Ethan Happ with 6 for Wisconsin. Bronson Koenig leading the way with 9. State Farm halftime report just around the corner. The No Problem people. Find your agent at AutoOwners.com. 33-20, Wisconsin on top of Illinois here at the half in Champaign. Dave Revson, John Crispin with you. A season-low point total in the first half for the Fighting Illini. So good defense, no doubt, from the Badgers. And offensively, a lot going through Bronson Koenig.
Yeah, that ball screen offense is something that he's taken great advantage of, particularly in transition. It's an opportunity. It's not exactly a set play, but it's an opportunity he just sees. And if you back off and allow him to shoot jumpers, he's going to kill you. And then in this side ball screen, it's even tougher. As we freeze here, you see it. Defenders, you see the ball. You have to keep your eyes on the ball. See man, see ball, because as the ball comes your way and you vacate the paint, you give up wide open opportunities for a guy to keep it happen. And 5 offensive rebounds in the last 2 minutes to close out that first half. Just too easy for Wisconsin.
Our Auto Owners Insurance game leaders. Koenig leading the way for the Badgers with 9 points along with a couple of assists. Malcolm Hill with fully 40% of the Illini's 20 points. He has 8. Again, Wisconsin getting it done defensively, and this is a team that's held 10 of its 21 opponents so far this year to season-low point totals. The Illini season low, just in case you're curious, is 56, and it would take a good second half for them to get that.
Well, especially against this Wisconsin team. See Ethan Happ, yet another steal. Gosh, he does that so well.
And then Happ through the lane, and he finishes with his 7th and 8th points of this ball game, and the lead out to 15.
It's interesting when you talk to coaches around the conference and even around the country about this Wisconsin team. They say you can't speed them up. So even if you're a team that plays with great tempo and pace, you're just not going to speed Wisconsin up. They're going to continue to do what they do, and they're going to make you be efficient on your end of the ball.
And yet Wisconsin really scores. I mean, I think there's this misconception that this is a team that doesn't score. They're on pace to be the highest scoring Wisconsin team in 23 years. They average more than 78 points a game. They're just so efficient, and they do it at their pace, not at your pace.
Yeah, and I said in the first half, they don't limit possessions. That's the thing. They're not trying to limit possessions. They're trying to maximize efficiency. And with this team now, a second year kind of back with the swing offense, now they're getting into the counters. There are additional options within the offense, and I think that's what makes them a little bit more explosive.
3 on the shot clock, Brown. And it's an air ball, and it's a shot clock violation. So good defensive stand there by Illinois.
And Illinois can be very good defensively at times, and they have all the pieces. They have the personnel to do so. The issue is communication. Similar to what we've seen with other schools here. You're headed to Indiana tomorrow. That's been an issue. They've talked about communication defensively, and I understand it sounds like a simple thing and kind of an elementary type thing, but it's a little tougher than that at this level. It's really hard with the pace of the game to remember to communicate as well as you have to be an effective defense.
Here's Hill, 10 to shoot. Hill over Brown. Left it short, offensive rebound, Abrams. Morgan for 2. That doesn't go. And another offensive board for the Illini. And again, they're unable to convert. And Koenig has it for Wisconsin.
And that's where I think the Illini have to be a little bit more patient. You get a second chance opportunity. Make Wisconsin work.
That was not prototypical Wisconsin basketball there.
No, that was not. That was midway through the student section. I think it caught the banana up in the student section. Notice there's a banana next to what appears to be someone wearing an 8. There he is.
Yeah.
There's my man.
So you look yourself in the mirror, you say, I'm going to be the banana today, and I think I look pretty good.
Mom, Dad, check me out.
And it's tuition money well spent.
With the banana.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you walk out. That's what makes college basketball great. Here's Lucas. Can't get it to go. Rebound for Koenig, and here comes Wisconsin. Jordan Hill inside the half, loses control of it, and it will be Illinois' ball.
Not a bad idea. Ethan Happ's a guy who gives you a target hand, like an Isaac Haas. Isaac Haas does that well. Gets position, gives you a target hand. Right idea, just couldn't converge.
It's the 8th turnover now for Wisconsin, nearing their season average, which is 11.2 or 11.1, according to the numbers we have there. We have a slight discrepancy. It's right around 11. Here's Morgan. And he is fouled It's the first foul on Ethan Happ, and Maverick Morgan will go to the free throw line.
I like the Illini going into Maverick Morgan and then vacating. They vacated space to allow Maverick Morgan to have a one-on-one opportunity against Ethan Happ, and I would trust that matchup if I was John Gross.
And Morgan rolls home his 7th point of the game. Chance to see the Illini in their next game on BTN as well. It's Saturday afternoon. They will take on Minnesota. It's a couple games in a row here on BTN. In fact, their next one is on BTN as well, so they go to Northwestern a week from today. 8 points for Maverick Morgan. Illinois back within 11. Wisconsin's lead has been as big as 16. Illinois has never led in the game. Kanan. Here's Brown. Left it short. Nichols battling for the rebound, and it will go to Illinois.
The defense has been much improved here to start the second half. Swarming to the basketball, taking some easy passes away, and kind of allowing a simple ball reversal pass, but not allowing the entry pass to the post. I like what they're doing defensively.
John Gross's team has held Wisconsin to just 1 field goal here to start the second half. 1 of 3 turnovers for the Badgers.
I think it's interesting, too, if you're not going to be able to speed the Badgers up, I think you have to look at what they do well defensively and, in a way, mimic that. You're not gambling too much. You're not pressuring too far from the basket. See Ethan Happ, almost another steal.
A great effort by Happ, and Happ is called for the foul.
I don't know what he did. Let's take a look at it. He gets his hand on another ball, another deflection. Gosh, he just does it so well. I get, yeah, they're going to call it for diving into the player. I wouldn't have called it. For sure, I wouldn't have called it because he ended up with the ball.
Well, as it is, it's the second foul on Happ. And so now Illinois trying again to get it into single digits.
That was one heck of a play.
It was a great effort. Here's Nichols. Gets it to roll home, and Kipper Nichols gets his first 2. And this crowd coming to life a little bit in Champaign as the Illini cut it to 9. Happ nearly lost it. Rolls out. Iverson going for the board, but it comes to Lucas. Now knocked away from behind by Iverson, and Wisconsin's got it. Here's Kanan. Showalter inside Happ. Knocked away from behind by Hill. 3 out of the corner by Kanan, not there. Offensive rebound, Hayes.
And Nigel Hayes gave the student section under the basket just a mild little stare down, like a friendly stare down. It was a good couple of possessions there where the crowd finally got into it.
I'd say Nigel quieted them down a bit.
Yeah, he did.
Here's Hill, behind the back move, left it way short, and then it goes off of Wisconsin, so it will stay with the Illini.
Gosh, one heck of a possession back and forth. Lil Iverson gets the steal, but Nigel Hayes gets the throwdown. It gave the student section a little stare.
An 11-point lead for Wisconsin over Illinois. We encourage you to follow the Big Ten Network on Instagram. Get the coolest Big Ten sports content before anyone else. Follow BTN on Instagram now at Big Ten Network to see the best images and video of the Big Ten. Off the inbounds. Illinois trying again to get it to a single-digit margin. Morgan usually consistent from that spot. Misses that one, though, and Trice will bring it across for the Badgers.
Let me ask interested to see at some point if the Illini go back to that zone. I think they had great success with it, just didn't.
Ooh, look out. Alley-oop for Iverson, but unable to corral it.
He's had some highlights.
He is a great athlete, no doubt about it. Hayes out of the corner. That doesn't go. And Lucas able to come down with the board for Illinois. The freshman from Milwaukee, Lucas, has it blocked away, but Hill able to regain. Now Nichols. Inside Morgan working on Happ. And a turnover. Here's Hayes. The hesitation move on Nichols. Iverson will swing it back out. And Nichols with the steal. Here's Nichols one-on-one with Iverson. And Kipper Nichols now has 4. And Illinois back to within 9.
It's amazing how second it gets into single digits, this crowd gets into it. Understanding that it's a ball game if it's under 10 points.
Happ. Double teamed. Showalter through the lane and lays it in. Nicely done by Zach Showalter.
He does that so well. Good ball fake, because this is a Wisconsin team that once the ball comes out of the post, they usually reverse it very well and look to repost on the opposite side. So defense does adjust to that. Little ball fake gets him into the paint and finish.
Coleman lands for 3. Got it. 6 for Coleman lands. Here's Hayes. Spinning on Nichols. Misses that one. Gets it back. No good. Hayes again. And he'll go to the line. The foul is on Coleman lands. And that is the first on Coleman lands.
Dave, go back to what John Gross talked to us about at shoot-around, talking about second chance opportunities. We can't give up too many offensive rebounds. Well, this Wisconsin team reminds me of the old 2000 Michigan State team, where it's almost like you just throw it up at the rim and go get it. They've been aggressive on the offensive glass.
They said the foul was on the floor, so Hayes not shooting the free throws, and instead Wisconsin inbounding. I mean, the offensive rebound numbers now 15 for Wisconsin in this game to 8 for Illinois. And Gross was saying you're going to have to look at the differential of offensive rebound and the differential in terms of turnovers. And he said that number can't get too high for us. So Wisconsin 7 additional offensive rebounds. The turnover number's even.
Well, and then the points off turnovers 13-6 in favor. Actually now 13-8 in favor of Wisconsin.
And another 3-ball by Iverson. Again, he had just 2 all year coming in. He has 2 tonight. And the lead back out to 11.
Sometimes I wonder if guys like steal a scouting report or something, and on the scouting report it says, let Khalil Iverson shoot threes. Because so far tonight he's knocked them 2 down.
There's Finke. Backing in. That one is short. Finke trying to track down his own board. Throws it off of Thomas. And it will stay with Illinois. So good hustle there.
Finke's got some back-to-the-basket game, but ultimately he's a pick-and-pop guy. He's a 4 that can space the floor. The guys have done a good job of figuring that play out. Falling out of bounds, you can't call that weak timeout anymore, where you're diving out of bounds, yelling for timeout. So you throw it off to the defender.
A good heads-up play there by Finke. Here's Hill. Tough shot out of the corner. Battle for the board. And it's going to be a foul on the Badgers. It will go on Showalter. That's the first on Showalter. And speaking of Showalter, we take a look at our Motorist Insurance Group drive to the hoop.
Just look what a little ball fake does. Obviously, he has the athleticism to make that shot. Ball fake sets it all up.
Finke with the offensive board. And a foul. Vito Brown is the one who's being talked to here. He and LaRon Black got tangled up away from the ball, and the foul is going to go against Brown. So that's the first on Vito Brown. It's 42-31. Wisconsin ahead of Illinois. Actually, they're calling a double foul. It will be a foul on LaRon Black as well. 11-point lead for the Badgers. John, summarize how he does that.
Well, I'm going to give you a few things that you could work on if you want to help your Big Ten Network basketball team win some games. It starts with position.
Taking notes.
If you can get position, that's step number one for Ethan Happ. Getting position is what allows him to do what he does best. And the next one's footwork. He's got great footwork. Once you get good position, what are you going to do with it? Well, he's got great footwork. He can put you in the mix, or he can finish around the basket because of that great footwork. The other one is the pump fake. Everybody can use a pump fake. He uses it very well because he times it out. He sees and feels where the defenders just elevate just enough to be able to get that shot off after a pump fake.
Incredible numbers in the game against Rutgers. He became the first Big Ten player in 20 years with more than 30 points, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Just remarkable. The combination of skills that Ethan Happ brings. Great athlete and really understands the game.
I mean, but already, I already hear, but he's not the best foul shooter. Yeah, I know he's not. He'll get better at that. Oh, he's not a three-point shooter. Yeah, I know he's not. He just had 30-plus points at the Garden and almost single-handedly won that game for his team.
Here's Hill, good feed inside. Fink, he runs into Brown, and then Thomas swats it away.
I mean, that's just the position of that defense. Good execution for the Illini, but both defenders, both backside defenders slid over to take that away.
So 9 to shoot for Illinois. Again, we had the double foul right before the break on Brown and Black. Rebound there for Black. He's fouled and he'll go to the line.
And part of the reason you have the double foul with Black and Brown, they're both really working hard. Partially because LeRon Black may play as hard as anybody else in the conference. He really gets after it, goes hard, and if John Gross had 5 at him, they'd win a lot of basketball games. His effort, his energy has been absolutely tremendous. And eventually that wears you down. That kind of fight wears you down as an opponent.
So Black will go to the free throw line, try to convert on the three-point play. And he does so. 5 points now for LeRon Black. And Illinois as close as it's been in some time. 42-34, an 8-point game. So the Illini have scored just 20 points in the first half, already with 14 here in the second. We'll see if Wisconsin can get something going. They've made just 7 of their last 30 field goal attempts. Second time they've tried that alley-oop to Iverson, and this time he will go to the free throw line. These will be the first free throws of the day, by the way, for Wisconsin.
That's hard to believe. I mean, that was almost a nasty highlight. I mean, that's almost a poster. And I would say I look at the guys who are not applying pressure to the ball. You're allowing the passer to just pick out his pass. You've got to apply a little pressure to the ball. Otherwise, teammate's going to get put on a poster.
Iverson, a 60% free throw shooter, misses that one. We've seen a little bit of his explosiveness. Very, very athletic. Misses the free throw. Happ trying to keep it alive, cannot. And so now Illinois down 8. Here's Hill. Jalen Tate back out to Hill for 3. Not there. And the rebound to Koenig.
Not a bad look, but that would have been a huge shot for them to get to go. Would have cut it to 5.
Knocked away in a steal. Tate lays it in. First 2 for Jalen Tate. They are on their feet here at the State Farm Center. Illinois trying to end a 10-game losing streak against Wisconsin, the longest in the history of this series for the Illini. In terms of consecutive losses against the Badgers, they're on a 12-5 run. Koenig tries to answer, knocked away, and Tate's got it, and then Happ fouled him. That is 3 on Ethan Happ.
I gotta say, I think partially, or part of the energy that you're starting to see from the Illini is coming from the crowd. Getting this crowd into the game is going to be key for the Illini down the stretch, because a 6-point game against the Badgers feels more like a 10 or 12-point game. It requires multiple possessions to get that game back. You're going to need more stops and more runouts if you want to get control of this game.
There's Coleman lands around the screen from Morgan. 3-ball, tough shot. Was deflected. And it will be Illinois ball.
And you kind of live with that with Jaden Coleman-Lands. He's a bucket getter. He's going to look to force up some shots, and that one just wasn't there in any way. Yes, definitely deflected.
So 14 to shoot. Hill only needs about one, but he misses it, and Hayes the rebound.
You're not going to get much more wide open than that. Miscommunication at the defensive end. Malcolm Hill wide open.
Here's Koenig. Showalter got it. Big shot for Zach Showalter. 8 points now for him. Has shot it very well in Big Ten play. 56% coming in, and he's 3 for 5 in this one, and John Gross wants to talk it over.
Not a bad string of plays if you're John Gross, but you cannot allow Wisconsin to come down, execute, and put up a 3 that easily. Illinois still in this game.
Special 8 hours of live coverage. Guys will analyze every Big Ten class, get thoughts from the coaches. Again, an 8-hour Big Ten football and beyond signing day special begins tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern on BTN and BTN to go. Of course, Wisconsin coming off a Cotton Bowl performance. Win over Western Michigan. Illinois trying to rebuild under Lovie Smith and recruiting the lifeblood of the program, John.
It's just amazing. 8 hours.
8 hours.
Wow.
You think that's too little or too much?
It's a lot.
Just right.
It's a lot. It's amazing, though, how into recruiting everyone is. I mean, the message boards, Twitter. You know, a guy commits, and you see it on Twitter, and the amount of comments welcoming a new kid to the program, it's pretty cool.
Nearly knocked away there, but Abrams gets it back. 10 to shoot for Illinois. Abrams down low, and Tracy will go to the free throw line.
I think this is an important stretch for the Illini. Coming out of a timeout right before you get to the under 8 timeout, you've got to make a nice little run here. And starts with a couple foul shots here, but then you got to get back and defend. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Illini get back into that zone at some point.
Abrams rolls the free throw home. 4 points now for Tracy Abrams, who's been in single figures in each of the last 7 games. And he had the great start to this season. He had 8 double-figure games early on, and the shooting stroke seems to have left him. They hit the big 3 earlier, hits 1 of 2 there. It's an 8-point game.
And ultimately, it's a mental thing. I mean, you understand shooting is all mental.
Here's Hayes spinning his way in, and Nigel will get to the free throw line.
He's so tough to defend. He reminds me a lot of Paul Pierce. I think that's a great compliment. Paul Pierce, he doesn't just do things explosively. He uses ball fakes, head fakes. He gets his body into you, gets to the foul line. Nigel Hayes does that very well.
Hayes 5 points in this game, had just 16 in the last 2 games coming in. And that one rims out. Free throw shooting was an issue in that game against Rutgers, certainly in the first half for Wisconsin. Just 66% as a team on the year, and 0 of 3 so far in this one as Finke comes in for the Illini. LeRon Black will sit down. Hayes, the preseason player of the year in the Big Ten, their 6th all-time leading scorer, misses both of the free throws, and it will stay with the Badgers. So missed opportunity there for the Illini, and I would say John Gross begs to differ.
A huge missed opportunity, and credit Khalil Iverson, who actually looks like it went off Khalil Iverson. I always say I'm a great official when I get to see it in slow-mo for a 3rd time.
And then a foul on the Illini. It's going to go against Abrams.
How about the description of that play? Foul on number 13, bear hug.
Bear hug? Yep. Called the bear hug?
Bear hug.
That's 5 fouls on the Illini. 7 already on Wisconsin. Trouble getting it in. Nice grab there by Happ as Koenig will now try to reset things for Wisconsin. A good second half here for Illinois. Claw back into it within 8. Happ working on Finke, goes to the left hand and hits.
And that's not the matchup that you want if you're the Illini. You don't want Michael Finke one-on-one against Ethan Happ. He's just too good.
Happ has a double-double. His 8th of the year. Came in tied for 3rd in the Big Ten in that category. Morgan has it swatted away by Iverson. Illinois regains. Abrams with 8 to shoot. Tate hanging in the air. Doesn't go. Half the rebound.
How about the play of Khalil Iverson? I mean, really just earning more time, and I think showing that he can impact the game on both ends.
Here's Hayes working the baseline and working it well. 7 points now for Nigel Hayes. Lead back up to 12 for Wisconsin.
The last couple of possessions, the Illini defense has been chasing the play. When you're chasing the play, offense gets the right position on you and you get beaten. It starts with Ethan Happ just getting position down low. And here you see it, work it underneath. He's got position. It's one-on-one against Michael Fickey. I pick Ethan Happ in that battle. And then if you chase the play, Nigel Hayes, he's got too big of a body, and he knows how to play basketball. Easy buckets.
Part by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE FARM. Back at the State Farm Center in Champaign, it's 49-37. Wisconsin over Illinois. It seems like every time the Illini make a little run here, Wisconsin able to stave them off, John.
Well, and that's Wisconsin. It's kind of business as usual. It seems to be the case against Rutgers, and it's certainly showing us that right now.
Trice trying to corral that loose ball, but it will stay with the Illini.
Just seem to be comfortable in close games. And I think we learned that about Maryland so far this year, too. If the game's close, my money's on Maryland.
Figuratively speaking, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Not a gambling.
No. Finke misses short. Ball knocked away, and Trice has it for Wisconsin.
I'll lose a few nickels on some, slots or something, but that's about it.
The Illini have gone more than 3 minutes without a field goal. They are shooting 29% in this game. Wisconsin continues to defend extremely well. Here's Hayes with the pull-up over Morgan.
That's a shot you can live with if you're John Gross in the Illini. You went back to the zone. You forced the tough, contested 15-foot jumper. The key would be just getting that defensive rebound.
Here's Hill inside Morgan. And Iverson swats it away, and it's a turnover for the Illini.
I think you got to create more space for Maverick Morgan. If you're going to throw the ball inside, let him have space to work. That time, Malcolm Hill came back towards the ball, and that's Khalil Iverson digging down, getting the deflection.
10th turnover for John Gross's team, now down by 14. Badgers have hit their last 4 field goal attempts. A foul inside, and it's going to go against the Illini.
It's really hard to play defense these days if you get beat to the spot. If the offensive player gets position, they are calling it so tight in the post that it's really hard to fight around and get position back.
Foul was on Black, his 3rd. Wisconsin will be shooting with the next Illini foul. Illinois already in the bonus. Here's Koenig for 3. Not there. Finke the rebound. Illinois a lot of ground to make up. Down 14. Final 6.5 minutes here from the State Farm Center. Here's Black. Working on Vito Brown, and he is fouled on his way to the hoop.
We mentioned before the challenge when you play Wisconsin. And a 14-point game against Wisconsin feels like 25. It just requires more and more possessions to get back in this game.
Around Black to the free throw line. 1 of 1 so far here tonight. 5 points for him. And that one rolls home. As we remind you, great Super Wednesday tomorrow. Penn State at Indiana at 6:30 Eastern time, and then a battle of ranked teams in West Lafayette, Northwestern, and Purdue. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings on BTN and BTN. We got one coverage starts at 7 Eastern. The game starts at 6:30.
There you go.
So I'm guessing the coverage starts at 6 Eastern.
Sure.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
I go where I'm told, and I show up when I'm told to be
I know
there.
my game starts at 6:30 in Bloomington, and I will be there.
Oh, whenever my game starts, I'll be there, too.
All right. I encourage you to do that. Here's Brown inside to Hayes. Now Trice. And a foul reaching in on Nichols.
And you see what Nigel Hayes is telling Trice right now. He said, don't throw that pass. You don't have an angle to throw that pass. That's not close to a turnover. What Nigel Hayes was telling Demetrius Trice was saying, look, get that ball to the corner. I've got position. If you throw the ball back to the corner, I have position. It's an easy entry pass from the corner.
So now Hayes goes to the free throw line. And Nigel Hayes hits the front end of the 1-1. The first free throw Wisconsin has made tonight. It puts Nigel Hayes into double figures.
God, it's hard to believe. The first free throw they've made tonight. 1 of 5 from the free throw line.
And hits them both. (53-39). The Illini haven't hit a field goal in nearly 5 minutes. Finke tries to end that, but he can't. Hayes the rebound.
Oh, and this is where it gets tough. A quick shot, empty possession, and now you know you're going to have to play defense for a solid 25 plus.
Brown tries to get it inside to Hayes, and they turned it over. It looked like Malcolm Hill might have gotten away with a shove there.
Yeah, he might have got a little push in there, but if anything, Nigel Hayes is thinking, just be patient. Let me get set, then look to feed the post. It's all about timing.
(53-39). Illinois tried to avoid its 11th straight loss at the hands of the Badgers. Longest winning streak for Wisconsin in the history of this series. Badgers looking to make it 15 wins in their last 16 games. Here's Nichols. Now Coleman lands off the mark. Kipper Nichols able to track it down. Nichols across the lane, rolls out, and the rebound to Happ. Minutes to go in the game. Here's Koenig. And now Happ inside. Hayes with 9 to shoot, and Nigel Hayes took an extra step. 12th turnover for the Badgers.
That's an interesting one because it really is close to a Euro step. But I'd have to see it again. 1, 2, 3 and up. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's travel.
It's travel.
Yeah. The good news for the Badgers, with the lead under the 5-minute mark, they are 31-0 under Greg Gard when leading with 5 minutes to go. So if Illinois is going to come back here, they are going to break a significant trend, to say the least. Here's Hill. In on Happ and rolls it home.
I think the Illini have to get more aggressive. The second the ball goes through the basket on the defensive end or they get a rebound, they got to just turn that into instant offense. Attack right away. I think rolling the ball up the court allows the defense to get set, and Wisconsin loves that.
Here's Happ.
Ball fakes, eye fakes, shoulder fakes, head fakes, whatever you could fake, Ethan Happ does it.
A dozen for him. It's 55-41. Wisconsin looking for win number 19. That's what I'd say there, if you wanted me to argue. Anyway, 55-41, Wisconsin over the Illini. 14-point advantage is Illinois, as you said, kind of Letting the ball roll across, which saves them some time, but definitely lets the Badgers get themselves set. Here's Morgan. Backing in on Happ. Morgan with his spin. Rolls out. And a foul on the rebound. It's going to go against the Illini.
That's the look you want. I mean, you got Maverick Morgan, one of your best offensive players, making a one-on-one move, can't get it to go. But once again, you don't really have any shot blockers if you're Wisconsin. I mean, Ethan Happ can block shots, Nigel Hayes can block shots, Vito Brown block shots, but they're not real shot blockers. They're not A.J. Hamilton. So if you don't overcommit to the shot, you're already in position to get it off or a defensive rebound. And the only thing Maverick Morgan could do is go right through Ethan Happ.
Ethan Happ, that's an area where he has really struggled at the foul line. Misses that one. So the lead stays at 14. Coleman lands now. He'll shoot the three, rimming out. And Vito Brown the rebound.
Talk about Ethan Happ's struggles at the foul line. I think he needs to think less. I know they're really working hard at it. I just know shooting is such a mental thing. You talk about Tracy Abrams. He's a very good shooter, but he's struggling. Why? It's all mental.
Knocked away. It will stay with Wisconsin. Take a look at our Motel 6 sixth man, Khalil Iverson, matching his season total for three-pointers coming in with 2. 6 points for him off the bench, and he is our Motel 6 sixth man. Now, you talk about Happ and the free throws. I talked about that quite a bit today with Greg Gard, and he said they're just trying to simplify and take some of the motion out of it. Just feels like there are too many moving parts in his free throw stroke.
I just think it's
get a chance to see it again here, John.
You've just got to practice it. Whatever your stroke's going to be, it is what it is. And at this point in the game, you're now into your 3rd year in college. Yes, a redshirt sophomore, but your 3rd year in college, it's hard to go back to the drawing board at this point. I think you just got repetition, 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 as John Wood said it. And try to perfect it in perfection. The more you think about it, the more gimmicks you take on to try to fix your problems, the more mental it becomes.
Well, just trying to get a consistent routine at the line. That's one of the things they said they're working on quite a bit with him. But it does seem like it's kind of gotten into his head. And you noticed that at Madison Square Garden on Saturday as well.
I'm not trying to pick up a client or anything, but I feel like there's a few things we could work on.
Showalter. That one rims out. Nichols going for the board, and the Illini have it in the hands of Coleman Land. 3 minutes to go here from Champaign. 55-41. The 10th ranked team in the country is led from start to finish. Ball deflected, and Illinois will keep possession with 15 to shoot.
This is where a 14-point game, as I've said a couple minutes ago, it feels like a 20-plus point game. It really does, because Wisconsin just locks down defensively so much. As much as you want to push the tempo, they don't allow it.
Here's Morgan. Maverick Morgan into double figures for the 8th time in the last 9 games. 55-43. The big show coming up next. Rick Pizzo, Deion Thomas, Jess Settles standing by in Chicago. Take you through the entire day in the Big Ten and those dunks of January as well. Abrams able to get it to Morgan. Here comes Hill. And Hill will shoot the 3. Rebound to Showalter.
And now you got to wonder if you're going to start to foul Ethan Happ the second he gets the ball. I know I would, because at this point, you know Wisconsin's just going to actually just work the clock, and that looks like they were trying to foul.
Well, they fouled, but they fouled after he made a basket, which timing-wise wasn't ideal.
I really did. It looked like Maverick Morgan was trying to foul on the catch. He just locks his right arm up. There it is. He just locks it up. But you got to know that Ethan Happ's going to be aware of that, and he gets it to go. And that's exactly right now. Maverick Morgan is talking to the officials. Chris Beaver in particular, he's saying, look, I tried to foul him on the floor.
And Happ misses another free throw, so he is 0 of 3 from the free throw line. Wisconsin 2 of 9. Really the only thing they have not done particularly well here tonight, a game that they have led comfortably virtually the entire way. Offensive rebound, or the rebound, I should say, for Trice.
with the hack-a-haps in play, I mean, he's already got 14 points and 12 rebounds. He's done some damage. I mean, he's impacted this game in every possible way, including steals.
It's going to become a factor, though, later in the year. I mean, if you're in a close game, you're going to want to have Ethan Happ in there. Trice's pull-up doesn't go. Tipped around. It comes to Hayes, and he alertly pulls it back out, and Illinois is not going to foul. And so Wisconsin will get to 8-1 in the league, and will move even with the Maryland Terrapins again. Again, Maryland winning today at Ohio State.
What do you think between Wisconsin and Maryland? Who do you give the edge to at this point? I mean, I think experience-wise, it's obviously Wisconsin, but this Maryland team has impressed the heck out of me.
They are really good, and people kind of refuse to take them seriously for whatever reason. Again, haven't played the greatest schedule.
I was one of them too, so I can't really get on anybody. I did not give them the credit they deserved early. I thought too many close games against some inferior opponents early, but I was wrong. They really learned how to win close games, and they're certainly benefiting from that today in this conference.
Hayes will try the three. Back rim and out, another offensive rebound for Wisconsin. And this should do it as Wisconsin comes into the State Farm Center, leads from start to finish. And the Badgers take a 57-43 win over the Fighting Illini, as for the 11th time in 22 games this year, they hold their opponent to a season low. Wisconsin now 8-1 in the league, 19-3 overall. The big show next on BTN. This has been a presentation of the Big Ten Network. For John Crispin, I'm Dave Revson saying good night from Champaign.